straight from the realm of all things gaming. Everything Noob starts now.
Episode 128, the Everything Noob podcast. Welcome. I am Vortak, joined this evening by Miss Jemmy, Mr. Dreadlow. How's it going?
What's up?
It's going.
It's going.
What's up? We are gamers and streamers of sorts, and lately we've been super addicted to Grand Theft Auto, which is what we talked about last week. But this week, a new topic has kind of been rattling the cages all week long, and we're going to discuss our thoughts on it. But news... What?
It hasn't been all week. It's been all weekend.
All weekend,
It started Thursday or Friday, and it's just the internet is pissed.
Well, it made me upset because it's already a huge thing just happened moments ago, and we could have been, we do the podcast once a week, so that's the one downside to not doing a daily show is we couldn't cover this the whole time, and now we just got word that the Valve has gone ahead and said, all right, fine, we took it away, we took the mods off of Skyrim, but before I get into that, the topic for tonight is, yes, Steam has a section called the Steam Workshop. They've always had that, but now people who mod games, specifically starting with Skyrim, can charge for their mods. And this caused a massive uproar in the community. The gaming community as a whole everyone had something to say about this. And here we were waiting till Monday, eagerly waiting to do our show. And yes, here we are. So we just got word that Valve finally came out and said, all right, fine. And they actually made I like the statement they made. We'll leave that particular link in the show notes so you can see it. But they actually went into detail as to what led them to the decision they made to do it in the first place, to charge for mods, and why they thought it was a good idea, how they screwed up and everyone left feedback for them. But it looks like the end result is we still want to do this, but we're going to do it right next time. And that's kind of where we left it.
Yeah, I think the whole idea, I don't know if this is what Steam said, but I think the whole idea was to, make sure there was a better quality of mod than what's out there. Because there's a lot of stuff out there that just really messes your game up.
Yeah.
Technically, and so if somebody is going to put something out there and they put it out for free, there's some mods that took years to make, and these people weren't getting paid for them, and it was supposed to help them out, but I don't know.
It was supposed to be a win-win for mod developers and Valve. And the thing is, if you look at the facts here, Valve takes 75%, and then you get 25%. So you get to charge money for something you made that Valve didn't contribute to at all, and you get 25% of the profit.
But you have to remember, the lion's share of that 75% goes to Bethesda.
Do we know what that percentage was? Because I imagine
it was anywhere from 45 to 65%.
Okay. So Valve, but Valve has to be the one to be like, well, it's our market, so we'll be the ones to say we're taking 75%, and they'll work out who gets what from there. But yeah. Bethesda, although it's their intellectual property, they're entitled to a cut. A lot of people were like, that's ridiculous. That's way too much of a cut for you guys when we're the ones doing all the work. We're making content for your game, and you're giving us some pennies. Pennies on the dollar.
But if you think about what developers make out of the cut of profits of working on a game, it's actually a really good deal. In fact, percentage-wise, you're getting more than a developer on the game would get.
Something is better than nothing.
Yeah.
But, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I mean, it's just cut-wise, I think it was kind of fair. Though, I don't know. I know I can see where people are getting mad and upset and stuff, and it's like they already created a market, they already created a game, they already created a lot of the resources you're building on. So, and then when you come through and to redevelop for it, you're getting a larger profit than any developer on the game got.
You're right.
On your micro sale anyway. So I don't really have a problem with it. maybe Steam's personal cut was a little too high, but I don't know too much about marketing or what is it? The fees with credit card transactions and stuff like that. And they do host all those mods on Steam servers for free.
Yeah.
So I mean, that does cost money. Like,
you're right.
I would imagine. Yeah, they would have to have, especially some of those mods are like megabytes. They're huge.
It reminds me of some of the things we said about Nintendo before we get too far away from what Jimmy said. We were saying that, like, recently Nintendo, maybe this was just a conversation I had with someone, I don't know, but recently Nintendo started selling classic games on the marketplace for Wii U. And they already made their money off these games, yet they're charging like quite a lot for them.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show, I'm sure we've covered this too on the podcast. We've talked about how games now we're in this era where you can make your money again from a video game that you already made your money from, It already had its time.
Oh.
And so this kind of comes back to that, where like Skyrim already got bought by everyone. They already made their money off Skyrim. They're developing ESO now, and they're working on, I imagine, the next Elder Scrolls game. Yet now they want more money from mods people are making, where it used to be completely free. It used to be, the mod maker just doing it for fun, and Bethesda's just letting it happen.
Well,
and that was that.
Here's what's happens. Like, even though Bethesda said, "Hey, it's okay if you sell your mods as long as it's through Steam because we give consent for that," it's really the modders' fault, because they were like, "Hey, I will sell my mod." Or in the case of a lot of mods, or people stole mods that weren't theirs from a great modding community, the Nexus community, and then they just put it up on Steam for sale. And there was no checking of if you're the actual mod creator or anything like that. There was no policing.
Yeah, that was another really big problem. People were stealing mods that were not being monetized and calling them their own. People are using assets from other copywritten material in their mods. Modding is a very open field. You can get away with murder, really, because no one's making money. And as soon as money comes into the picture, now you have to take all these things into account.
Yeah, because you can access those assets and code from a mod and modify them yourself. So if somebody is going to sell a mod on the workshop, they can take that mod.
Completely 100% yours.
And then re-put it back on there. Change some stuff, re-put it back on there for free.
Yeah, and some simple guidelines would fix the problem. I mean, you can't use any copyright material, just like uploading a video to YouTube. You can't use any copyright material. It has to be your content. The same kind of principle can be used for people developing mods for sale.
But do you think, like, Steam is ready, or Valve is ready to police that kind of,
obviously
for lack
not.
of a better word, clusterfuck when it deals with copywritten materials?
Obviously
because,
look at Twitch.
It's using assets for other mods, and then a lot of mods are like, reskin your character to look like this other character from another game, which is copywritten and stuff like that. I was like, no, you are not ready to deal with that mess.
Look at Twitch. Yeah. I mean, right now, Twitch was bought by Amazon, and everyone's like, oh, crap, here goes all our copyright music we get to play on our streams gone. And they still can't wrangle it in. Like, they're trying really hard, but,
What do you do for games like GTA, though?
Actually,
with the copyright and music?
I wouldn't dare put that music in one of my videos knowing YouTube, or stream it knowing how Twitch is trying to crack down.
Well, YouTube's bots, so they're not going to know.
Yeah, exactly. I use, now, when I make videos, and usually it's the radio's off anyway, but if the radio's on, I set up my self-radio with a bunch of songs I'm already okayed to use, like from Approaching Nirvana and Arisian and Family Jewels and things like that. So that's what's in my playlist for the self-radio on GTA, which is an awesome feature, and part of me thinks that's part of the reason why they put it in the game. Other than that, it's just awesome to add your own music to it if you're not streaming, but if you are, I'd recommend using self-radio for that. Because that's...
Or actually, well, for me, I don't know if this happens to anybody else, but I've noticed that when I'm on the GTA 5 online and I use the self radio, it causes me to lag. And then when I turn the radio to regular radio that's on there, it's fine. So
that
if
didn't
you're
happen to me.
streaming, yeah, it happens to me. I don't know if it might be just the fact that it's running in the background on my computer along with the game. Maybe that could be the problem. But yeah, I'd still use my own thing, my music player while I'm streaming instead of just using the in-game one.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can do it either way.
What are you laughing
But the
at?
stealth radio is pretty cool.
Funny GTA glitches. So, my one friend who purchased the game for me as a gift, I've been playing with him a lot, and he gets this weird glitch that whenever he's going from his garage to his apartment, he so he'll open the door to his apartment in that cutscene, and then he walks right back into his garage.
Oh, that's annoying.
He gets like a
That is.
wormhole. And last night he had just bought a new apartment that was better. And so we both ride into his garage on a motorbike, and we're about to try to go into his apartment, and some weird glitch happens where I teleport to my apartment and he teleports to some other place across the map.
Oh my god.
It was
Wow.
insane. Like, how does this happen?
That's annoying.
That's crazy.
The Micro in chat says Counter-Strike Go Workshop. And I know for a while Team Fortress 2 and Counter-Strike and games like that have been utilizing, I guess, paid mods. I don't play these games, and if I do, I don't play them enough to get into the modding section of them, so I've been seeing that people have been using those as examples in this case, but I'm not very familiar with that, I'll admit. But I guess they kind of had a stance on like no copyright materials or anything like that if you're going to charge for mods. Hopefully I'm getting that right. So this isn't new to them, but yeah, like you said, policing this is not something that I don't think they can handle it just yet. You need a whole nother staff for that. You need a group of people to work on that. You're going to have to hire for that.
Yeah, and when a mod is developed and goes up, they need somebody to look at that mod, try it out or whatever, to see if there's any copyrighted material in there, and then allow it to be on the workshop or something. I mean, if they don't do that already, I don't know.
And then mods are notoriously like sketch, even the good ones. Like, you never know if it's gonna work or not, or how long it'll work.
Oh, I've had it destroy my whole freaking save and everything. Yeah, I've had mods destroy it.
But
So
then you're charging for that. You have 24 hours to get a return on a quote-unquote broken mod, and then you're locked out of the marketplace for like a week if you get a refund on a broken mod.
I don't even use the workshop for my mods for Skyrim. I use that. Can't think of the name of it right now, but it's a mod manager for Skyrim and for any other games that you might have. And you go to their website. Yeah, the Nexus. And then I go on their website, look for a mod I like, and then I download it into the Nexus mod manager, and boom, it's already in there. And those mods have been tested and checked out and obviously reviewed by other players. So I always look at all those reviews and stuff to make sure that the mod is actually working. And, that's how I do it. And I think that's what probably a lot of people would do, is they would look at the workshop, go, this costs $3.99, and get one similar to it on Nexus Mod Manager for free. So,
yeah, I mean, then you have to have people who, I mean, the thing about this, I was talking to Mojo before the podcast about it, and what really bothers me about this whole stance people have taken is that people aren't upset with the cut Valve took. I mean, there are people who are upset about it, but the majority of people are upset because they don't like the idea of paying for something that was once free. And I watched, Dreadlow actually pointed me to a Total Biscuit video that goes over all of this and his thoughts on it. It's very opinionated, but we'll link it in the show notes anyway. And he did list some facts I took some notes on. For example, like the price range of the mods from like 25 cents for maybe a sword to $28 for like a pack of mods. And of course the 75% revenue and stuff. And he went through like some of the pros and cons. But people, complaining, and I agree with him that people are pissed because there's a whole group of people out there who are like, mods should be free. It should be like a passion project. No one should make money from making a mod from a game. And that's where he disagrees. And I agree with him. I don't think, I agree that people should make money for their work if they want to. And of course, they got to price it right. They got to go through all that. I just think it's already been happening. I don't participate in mods that much, but I think if people want to make money, they go on their website and put up a donation box. And they tell the people in the mod, like, probably in the description or something, if you want to donate so I can keep working on this mod, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Here's the link. And that's how they've been doing it. I imagine people who do it for passion.
For years.
Yeah. People who do it for passion, do it for passion. People who do it for money, figure it out. We don't need Valve to step in. However, for legal issues and stuff, it's better that they do and they regulate it. Bethesda gets their cut, Valve gets their cut, and you get your cut, and everyone's happy.
And the thing is some of these mods are game changers. I mean, some of these are actually make Skyrim a whole new game, basically. So somebody put a lot of work and effort into coding and making that mod, and probably just as much as even a developer of some of these indie games we play. And they put a lot into it, and they never asked for a dime, for many years for some of these mods. And this was like Total Biscuits. I mean, this is a way for them to, get back. I mean, some of these, and one of the interesting things he points out is some of these mod makers, have a full-time job or whatever they might have, and they can't put full time into making a mod or improving it. And sometimes when a mod breaks, then the mod maker has to update their mod, and sometimes they don't have time to do it right away, and so you get the backlash from the community saying, come on, man, update your mod, man, come on, let's go. And he's doing it for free, and this might give them an opportunity to, save more time to work on their mod and update their mod much more quickly, because they'll be getting money in return for doing it. So I don't know. It's weird. I don't. It could be a good thing, could be a bad thing.
Well, see, on that note, though, I see people getting even more fired up and angry and lash out at the mod developer even more quickly because now they've paid for it.
Now they're forced to pay for it. Yes, I agree. There's a lot of people. Some of these people that make these mods probably wouldn't get the downloads if it wasn't free. You know what I mean? They wouldn't get as many people playing on it, and wouldn't get as much attention to the mod if it wasn't for it being free. And then having a donate button or whatever, if people want to donate, I'm sure they get donations. I mean, come on. I mean, I've donated to stuff before. I can't be the only one that does it. So no. I'm sure they do get donations and stuff, and sometimes donations could be better. What if somebody says, I love this mod so much, I've got money, I'll give you $100.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard of that.
Even though it was a disaster, I'm kind of glad it happened, because now we can sit down and have the discussion. It's clear that mod makers want to get paid for their work. They deserve to get paid for their work. Now, how do we figure out the right way to pay them for their work? And how do we figure out how to make everyone happy? Like, so Bethesda doesn't feel like, hey, people are making money off our property. We deserve a little bit of that. And Valve feels like, okay, this is our storefront you're using to advertise your stuff. We should get a cut of that. They got to find a way to make this work. And there's going to be some kind of creative solution. They're going to keep trying things. Probably some more disasters are in our future.
I think the 75% thing, I think is more of, I think the developer of the game is getting a bunch more of the money than Valve will ever get.
Yeah.
And and so I think that's what's
Nintendo's another great example. Just because you can take more doesn't mean you should, and that's what Nintendo's doing with people trying to make YouTube videos. And monetize the Nintendo YouTube videos. So, and we talked all about that. I mean, just because you can take some money and you feel like you deserve it doesn't mean you should do that, because now how many people out there are really covering Nintendo games? Not as many that could be.
See, what will this do for Gary's mod? Because Gary's mod is always there's thousands and thousands of different mods that you can get for Gary's mod to play, whatever. And I mean, geez.
Oh, he's already
all
come
those free
out and
mods.
said he is totally in favor of paid mods.
Good.
Gary.
I have a feeling that people have. I don't have a feeling. I know it. People are still bitter because people like Gary there are like, "Hey, paid mods. That's fantastic." And they're like, "No, mods should be free. Damn it!" And as a content creator, as someone who would love nothing more than to sit here and make this podcast and make money off it, than to sit here and make content and make money off it so it can be my full-time job, I have to support that. I have to say, hey, this is a good thing. People are taking their time to make something for you to enjoy. Why not pay them for that? They should get support.
And some of these people pay for like really very expensive programming programs.
Yeah. It's not like this stuff is free, Not they had to buy a computer well enough to do this in the first place. But then the programs they use, who knows? I don't mod. I don't know, but
yeah.
I know you said like most of the stuff you've seen or people are like, no, it should be free. Most of the people I've seen complaining about this is like nobody's arguing that there shouldn't be paid mods. But most people want to see it be like a large mod. So we're thinking something at least on the smaller side of DLC kind of large. So nobody wants to see like the 75-cent swords or whatever like that. If you just reskinned a sword, get out of the pool.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
most people like if you retexture the whole game, modify the sounds, do some really big stuff, and you make a game changer kind of mod, no one is upset that I can see that you want to charge for that. Like nobody's like, the market will pay what it's worth. The market will pay it or they won't.
I would definitely pay for because they're really good.
The market is full of a lot of kids who otherwise had to convince their parents to buy them the game in the first place, and now they're modding it, they're happy, and all of a sudden Steam's like, hey, by the way, you can pay for these mods now, and they're like, what? No, I just had to, my parents paid for this game already, they're not going to pay for it again, so it's hard to, as a kid, I can see why that would be like, no, and I think that's where a lot of the backlash is coming from.
Some of these smaller, in Workshop you can't do this, but some of these smaller mods can always make money from AdFly or something,
Yeah, there's other ways to do it, of course.
But I don't think you can link to it through Workshop, though.
No.
I don't know which came first for him, but do you guys know who Bacon Donut is? He's a streamer here on Twitch. He's really, really big on Twitch, and the reason his claim to fame, from what I saw anyway, how I heard of him, was the Sky Factory mod for Minecraft. And I have a feeling, I don't know, I didn't follow this guy before Sky Factory, and I think, like a lot of people, only knew of him because of Sky Factory, and he used Sky Factory to become a giant streaming powerhouse on Twitch, to where when I went to his stream for the first time, he got a donation every freaking 10 seconds.
Oh, I know, there's people
like crazy.
I
Like
see
the guy
that.
had thousands of viewers and was getting hundreds of dollars every few minutes. It was nuts. And all he did was make a mod. I mean, there's ways to market your mod.
Yeah.
So, and maybe he had a channel before that and then made the mod. I don't know. But still, there's ways to market your mod. That mod made him really popular, and he made money off it. And speaking of Minecraft, there's something I wanted to bring up. I saw this on Twitter, and I told Mojo, do not let me forget about this. Notch tweeted, remember how pissed off people got at me because we didn't let people charge for mods? Remember how that made me leave Mojang?
Oh.
Real talk right there, Notch.
Yeah.
Shoot. Yeah, that was, I saw that and I don't, it made me think, what did happen with that? That happens like ages ago now. I barely remember do you guys remember exactly what the chain of events was there?
Well, because they changed the terms of service because they were becoming more like a legitimate business, and so they're like, you have to get rid of the AdFly links and stuff like that. So this is like no advertisements just for your mod, and you can't sell your mod.
That's right. I remember.
And mostly it was because you're not selling it through a verified marketplace or anything like that. So there was a lot of seediness going on.
Well, yeah, there was. I was going to say there was also the some of the servers that were charging people to get on the server,
Yeah.
and then they had their things that they've added to the game that
Which
they were
were
selling.
pretty much things in the game
Plots
That
already.
you can
But
already
yeah,
get the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had to pretty much rebuy the game on a server.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that was a whole fiasco. And here this is happening. He's just like sitting there watching like like
That's crazy.
learn from our mistakes. It was I don't know, it was kind of one of those tweets that just made me go, "Yikes." Nice.
It's kind of the opposite problem though. But you can
Yeah, that's
you can
what-
see that this is a mess that you shouldn't have stuck that stick in a bee's nest like there. Should have
Yeah.
just let it go and people would have been like happy forever because ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, no one was coming after Mojang at the time, I think, unless, I mean, you count Microsoft trying to buy the company. Maybe that was just all closed-door meetings where they're like, there's a whole bunch of people recoding your game and charging for it. What's that all about? We going to have to do something about that? And they're like, we'll fix it. And then it caused a whole uproar. But it just, people, I don't know. I wonder if it's partially YouTube's fault where people can make money off their videos, they can run ads, and they get to make money doing what they love. And now there's this whole group of people that do that for different things. For example, game mods that feel like they deserve to be paid, and we haven't figured out a way to do that legally.
I know with phones, okay? You go on in the Play Store or whatever you want to call it, the Android store in the market, and you go in there and you look up an app that you might want, and there's just literally thousands and thousands of apps, and some of them are just nothing. You download it, you pay $1.99 or 99 cents for it, and it doesn't work. It's almost like a scam. It's like they just throw something together real quick to make an app just so they can make some money off of it.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid that people might do that with, something like this, where what they'll do is they'll just put together something real quick, like you said, skin a sword or something, and try to put it up on the market so that they can make a little money off of it, and it's just garbage. But that's why we as consumers are constantly reviewing, and that's where the reviews come in. If it's crap, nobody's going to buy it. It's going to be just sitting there. And so, and I always listen to the reviews on the.
It doesn't work that way though, because there's always people who do buy it, and then they for whatever reason can't get a chargeback or like a refund and stuff like that. And that's it's great to say vote with your dollar and stuff, but the problem is, it doesn't work like that in the real world.
Yeah.
Now, on paper, you
people
would
still
think
do
if
it.
something had tanked reviews, nobody would buy it, but they do.
And then more bad reviews come in, and yet people still buy it.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
Exactly.
Go on
And I
Steam
mean,
and look
like,
for some of those
It's
games.
not our job to police people who don't read the blurb, don't look at the reviews and see that it's overwhelmingly negative. It's not our job to save them from themselves, but at the same time, you're not helping the rest of the community and paid mods by continuing to buy the crap mods.
I mean, oh God, just in terms of dumb consumers, I'm really pissed off. I'm sick of seeing ads on TV for Clash of Clans and Game of War, or whatever the hell it's called.
Really?
TV ads for these mobile apps they're freemium.
That game is making so much money, though. Like, they've statistically thrown it out there. That game, those ads, 100% worthwhile.
Of course.
They've way returned their investment.
Yes, I
Kate
know.
Upton has made them so much money.
But that's just ridiculous that we can do ads for games that are really garbage. They're bad. They're not, there are so many better games out there that'll give you that same experience but better for a one-time fee, and they won't keep taking your money. And while we're on the subject of just apps, you reminded me, and I thought about bringing this up. I'm going to now. There's an app called Adventure Capitalist. It's free. And Mojo got really addicted to it. I started playing it. If you ever played Cookie Clicker, it's like that.
Oh, no.
It's a lot like
Oh,
Cookie
no.
Clicker. It's a useless game where you just rack up cash and you get all the things, and then you just start over but with more cash, and you get even more things, and it's endless. It's literally endless, and it's just a time waster. It's nothing to actually pay for. There's nothing to pay for there. If you want to run an ad on it, fine. In fact, if you watch an ad, you get like 4 hours of ×2 boost to all your profits. So it's like an encouragement to watch the ad. It was really well done. And then they did an update. And now, not only does the app just look kind of crappy because of all the little changes they made to it, but there is a shop where you can buy money with real money. Money that you can earn hand over fist if you just play the game right. But now you can buy upgrades and money to make more money for a game about making money. The only reward is that you make more money, and that's it. You'll spend the money on anything but making more money. That's the game. That's it.
Oh my God.
And there are people willing to pay for nothing, essentially.
Wow. Yeah.
I just wanted to rage about that one app in particular. If you pay money for a venture capitalist, you should be slapped in the face with your iPad. Hard enough to break that iPad so you can stop paying for a venture capitalist.
It hurts my brain to think about that.
I just had to get that out.
Hey, it's helping the economy.
Maybe their economy.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's not really helping the economy.
But just had to get that out there.
They feed the addicted, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, because some of these things are addicting, and you just sit there and you're like playing them. And I know, like Hearthstone, thank God it's not a money magnet, although you can buy things with real money, but I would
at least
like,
you kind of
sucked
get
in
something
real
with
easy.
Hearthstone.
Yeah, and you know, when a real company does it, when a company that's been around for a while and knows business does it, at least they do it right. Like Blizzard's a great example, you know. They're also a bad example in some ways, but with Hearthstone they did it right. And yeah, I mean, I don't look at that game and go, freemium garbage. I look at that game and go, oh, there's a benefit to actually working hard and getting cards, and there's a benefit to spending a couple bucks on it. And just like Smite and Dota and League of Legends, all those games,
yeah.
You know, there's a benefit to spending money, and you get something back from it, and you're supporting a free game, a game that didn't have the audacity to charge you $60 and then ask for all your money.
Yeah, and then in the end, you can still get all the things that anybody else can get by using real money.
Unity.
Just by playing the game. You get gold, and you use the gold to buy it, you know?
Yeah. But
So there are ways to get all those.
We've beaten the freemium horse to death over and over again.
That's true.
I don't want to get too far into that, but these mods...
But it's going to be end up the same kind of marketplace.
It
though.
is, yeah.
You're right. You're right.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's
it's
what I'm
almost
saying.
Like a freemium market.
These mods are turning, you know, games into like kind of freemium games, except now it's not, you know, it's not only the game company benefiting from it, but it's some guy who could have made a piece of crap, and you just have to take his word for it that it's good. You get 24 hours to decide for yourself. After the clock strikes 12 on that, you're out your money, you know. Maybe you downloaded the mod late at night, and you're like, I'll play this tomorrow, and then you only have a couple hours to actually try it, look at it, and go, this is garbage. And then, you know, clock strikes 12, it's done. Done. I'm using 12 as an example. It could strike 6 if you bought it at 6. You know what I mean.
Well, it could be 3, too.
It could be 3.
You buy your mods usually around 3 p.m.? Like, that's mod time?
It has to be on 3. I got an alarm that's set to it.
Oh.
It actually automatically downloads the mod and pays for it for me at 3 o'clock.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, so you queue them up. Wow.
Every new mod that comes out, he just pays for it. Doesn't care how much it costs or what it is. Do you guys see the mod that came out in light of all this? Someone made a mod that was literally just a sign for Skyrim that you could download, and it was a protest sign that said like no paid mods.
There was a lot of
way,
satirical
that's
and
cool.
outrage mods that were being put up on the store, and one of them was the chicken companion. And it had, like, if you read the blurb, it was very satirical and, like, talking about all this stuff. And it basically was a garbage mod. But they did put a tiny bit of work into it. And then I read a lot of comments, and because they did a giant list in the news article of, like, these fake mods that are going up. And everybody's like, I kind of really want the chicken companion mod. Because they put, a little helmet on it and everything. It was so cute.
Oh, my God. That's hilarious. But yeah, the sign sounds like fun. That would be cool.
People were just, you know, protesting in their own way, and that's, I guess, the best way to do it is flood the market with like protest mods. And I'm hoping the protest was because of the way they went about it and not the idea.
I
that mod
don't
makers
know
should make
if
money.
that's really a good idea to. I mean, obviously it worked but at least Bethesda was like, no, we're out.
I think it would be cool
no
if they
more
put
for
like
Skyrim.
if they put like a support button, next to the mod. If you'd like to support this mod, you can give a
Well, that's what a lot of people
donation
said. They're like, it should be pay what you want.
Yeah, or even just to pay what you want. Have
And
a
like
minimum
every time, and I thought
of,
in my
2
head, I was like,
cents.
pay what you want, and then like the developer of the mod sets the bottom line. Then you have your percentage cut that goes wherever, and then also every time if you didn't pay anything for that mod, every time that mod updates, it asks you, would you like to buy this mod? If the mod developer has opted in for a pay what you want buy mod.
Yeah. There is
Just to subtly remind you, hey, you should probably donate if you're using this mod still.
Yeah. There actually is in this system a pay what you want option.
There was, but there was no $0 option.
No, there was no minimum. Or there was a minimum. There was
Yeah.
no like, I want to pay 1 penny. Like they get to
I'm
set the
imagining
minimum on
this.
it.
I'm imagining this right now. You have a mod, right? Say like it's I don't know, even just makes it look nicer or whatever, or like a wind or something. And every once in a while, a little banner will pop down, an advertisement, like on your phone. A little banner will pop down as you're playing.
And oh my gosh, it would happen.
Yeah.
Little advertiser banners are popping down when you're playing the game. That would be crazy.
Hey, do you like this mod? Come buy my other mod.
Or not even talking about just advertisement of like
if you
Google
really want
AdSense
this
or
mod to work great, you should probably have to buy this other mod that this mod builds upon. That was a lot of things. That was another thing people were complaining about with paid mods. They're like, a lot of mods require other mods that people made. So what happens when like the builder mod?
Oh yeah,
is
that's
paid.
Right.
It's like that means you can't build off of that and give it out for free because they're not going to like that. But then also, so now you have to sell your mod whether you like it or not. And then there's also, what if that builder base mod was free and now you want to sell it? It's like, that's not right either.
You get into so many different like legal and ethical conflicts with it.
Yes.
Like I said, I hope they figure out a way to do it and figure out how to do it right. But I don't think Valve is going to be able to pull this off anytime soon, especially with the resources they lack at the moment.
Oh, I have a feeling we'll see this come swing back in within 6 months.
Yeah, but will it be done right? 6 months is a generous time. I was thinking a couple months from now, and then it would be done wrong again, and people would bitch again.
Well, they need people to forget about it, is the thing.
Yeah.
They need to fix it, and then they need people to forget about it.
Yeah, it's just Steam kind of has the market dominance right now. They're the one we go to for buying most, if not all, of our PC games. In fact, you basically can't get Grand Theft Auto for PC unless you have Steam. They get those exclusive deals sometimes, and that's just how it is. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm glad that they took the feedback to heart and they pulled it. Steam is willing to take that action, whereas other companies would just keep trying anyway. They're like, no, this is here now, just deal with it. And they actually said, all right, our fault, we'll figure it out, just it's gone, everyone calm down. I hope they don't get they have the market dominance, so I'm hoping they don't turn into
I don't know.
I guess.
It could be that Bethesda might be cracking down on the fact that maybe they're telling Valve they need to pay them money to allow mod creators to put mods on there of our game, or because of the copyright infringements that are possibly happening because of these mods like the Lord of the Rings mod and things like that.
Yeah.
It could be just Bethesda and just some of these game developers, cracking down on Valve, saying, hey, you can't be allowing these mods, um, and then possibly even saying, you're not supposed to mod our game or something to that effect. And Valve maybe making an agreement with Bethesda. Okay, well, we'll charge for the mods and we'll give you a certain percentage of it. And then they said,
here's the
oh,
thing.
okay, go.
The Lord
I
of
don't
the
know.
Rings mod, by the terms of service, would not qualify to be a paid mod because of the copyright material, like the blatant copyright material.
Right, right.
Yeah, so, that it's supposed to be all original content for those mods. And, there is some upsides to the modding. Like, a lot of people would say there'd be a lot better mods, a lot more people would come back around and re-update their mods when they're broken. And then there's a lot of people said if mods and developers could continue to get paid for the game that they've already sold you by taking a royalty from mod developers, you would see a lot more modding support in games.
Yeah.
Games that wouldn't
I can see
previously
that.
allow modding now will. But I've seen people also say that's going to open the door for more crappy day one games that are unfinished. And they're going to expect the modders to just finish the game for them. Or not finish it, but polish it.
You think maybe this whole thing could also open the doors for GTA 5 mods? It could. I mean, maybe
There is
Rockstar
gonna be
says,
mods for
hey, you can
GTA.
mod our game, but you have to pay us to do it. And maybe that's...
If they did that anytime soon, right after the backlash of the Skyrim mods, Rockstar really just wanted to shoot both feet.
Well, I'm saying Valve doing this might be something that they were like preparing for games like
sure
GTA
they had
5.
a list of people they've already signed contracts to that they were going to roll this out for after Bethesda got their like exclusivity spotlight with this. We just rolled it out first for this.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens, see how they change things and see if it changes for the better. But I feel like mod developers need some credit here because they really do put a lot of work into their mods. I mean, it's basically coding, it's almost like coding a game from scratch. Yeah, they're using Skyrim. It's kind of like the engine, and they may be even using the assets within Skyrim to do it, but there's still coding involved. There's still a lot of work, and someone put lots of days, months, whatever into their mod making, and sometimes it's cool that people will like give a donation and stuff because it helps them out, I mean, they take time out to do it.
I want to actually add some of that donation thing real quick, but before I do, I said a second ago that GTA 5 required Steam. I'm not sure if that was true. I either misheard that or...
No, it doesn't require Steam.
Yeah, it could have been some bad info, but someone was saying that it requires, if you get GTA 5, you basically need Steam, but I'm seeing if you get a retail copy, it's not even Steam compatible, so that's a thing too. So I don't know. I don't know what's true and what's not anymore, but I apologize. But the donation thing you just said, there's actually in that Total Biscuit video, he pointed out a Maxis dev. Maxis recently laid off all their people.
Right.
For SimCity, started making mods for City Skylines and taking Patreon donations in order to fund that.
I was going to mention that too. Patreon is perfect. Go to my Patreon page, and make a donation because there's things you get back from that too. It's not just you're giving them a donation. They're giving you something in return too. Not only the mod itself, but they have packages or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like a Kickstarter, but it's more of a donation thing than it is anything else. So yeah, I mean that's a good idea too.
Yeah, I just think that's really cool. I mean, that person created a full-time job for themselves, basically, where they just lost their job working on SimCity and The Sims and stuff. Now they're like, what do I do now? They took advantage of that game, had open mod support, and were like, I'll just see if people are willing to donate to me, and I'll use my skills to make these awesome mods. That's really cool. I mean, City Skylines is doing great. People are saying it's a million times better than SimCity, and I should probably get my hands on it at some point because it sounds really awesome. Maybe next time I'm in the mood to play SimCity, I'll remember to not play it and get City Skylines instead.
Like when I play a game, I go into the game, I go, wouldn't it be cool if this game had this? And that's what's so cool about mods. Because
someone else thought of that.
Someone else could have thought about that, or just somebody mentioning something like that could have made a mod maker go, oh, I can make a mod for that. And they make a mod, and then they help me out because now it's in the game. You know, the developer might not have originally put it in the game, but he allowed us access to the game to where we can make mods to modify things in the game that would help us out. A great example is when I was playing, what's that game called? It was an MMO.
I don't know.
A great example.
You're able to catch this hang glider thing to fly down, right? And what was happening was,
what's that, Aegis Online?
No, it's fire something. Firestorm or something. Anyway, you go down, but the problem was you have to level out perfectly to go down. Otherwise, you just fall straight down and die. And so somebody made a mod that allowed you to measure it, and it would turn red or green or whatever, turn different colors as you're going, and you got to keep it within the green to keep going. And it was perfect. It was so perfect that the game developers actually put it in there.
Blizzard's done that with a lot of the mods
And
that are made for World of Warcraft.
Yeah,
like the quest helper and stuff. All that's in the game now.
League of Legends
It's in the game
was
now.
originally a mod.
Yeah. Well, no,
Totally
it was Dota you're thinking of.
Yeah, well, yeah, but no, it was Dota was the mod, and then the people who are like who made Dota were like, we'll make our own game, and then they called it League of Legends.
Oh. Because it was World of Warcraft, or I'm sorry, Warcraft 3 made basically Dota, then they went on to make Dota 1
they
and
didn't.
2.
It was
Someone used Warcraft.
Dota 2 is owned by Valve.
What?
Yeah, there was a big lawsuit between like Blizzard and Valve because the Defense of the Ancients 2 is what Valve made.
Defense of the Ancients was
Defense
a Warcraft
of the Ancients
game
was
variant.
the mod. Yeah, but it was a mod. Like made by the
Yeah,
community.
it was. Dota was a mod originally for
And then it turned into a game.
Warcraft.
So Blizzard was trying to say they own intellectual property on the title Dota because it was a mod for their game.
Yeah, Dota is actually, yes, it wasn't made by Blizzard. It was made by somebody else, but it was
Ice Frog.
Dota.
Someone in chat said Ice Frog, the creator of Dota, didn't Ice Frog, the creator of Dota, make Dota 2? I don't play Dota. I don't know.
No. No, Valve made Dota 2.
Well, Valve is just a publisher. Ice Frog could have just gone through Valve, right?
Yes, but I don't know that much about it. I do know, like, it's Valve property, though.
Oh, we are the worst
And
gaming
I'm
podcast.
pretty well, no, like, I don't play MOBAs. I know just...
Well,
I
play
try
Smite.
to keep up, sort of. And I know a little bit of the history of where that new genre has come from, but I don't know the names of all the developers and stuff. And I'm pretty sure the people who made the Dota...
Okay, I got it.
It was.
mod...
I pulled it up. Dota
Yeah.
2 is a multiplayer online battle arena video game. The standalone sequel, so Amy's right, to the Defense of the Ancients, Warcraft 3 Reign of Chaos mod. Developed by Valve Corporation, Dota 2 was released as a free-to-play title for Microsoft Windows, blah, 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 in July 2013, concluding a Windows-only public beta testing phase that began in 2011. The game was available exclusively through Valve's content delivery platform, Steam. That still doesn't... Okay, and there's Ice Frog, was hired by Valve as the lead designer. Okay, cool. So everyone's right.
Yeah, and obviously the probably the multiplayer aspect was probably developed by it
There's
says
your
right
fact
here
check of the day.
Perfect World was a part of it as well, which has some multiplayer games.
So
But,
then who made League of Legends? Was Ice Frog in that? Or was it just like a lot of people who really... Was it a group of people who are really into Dota?
I thought League of Legends was just another MOBA to compete with Dota.
No, they made it a standalone because they wanted, from what I understand, people wanted a little more than Warcraft 3's mod would allow them to do, so they made a standalone game. Because they're like, hey, this is really popular. I bet we can make a standalone game and make it blow up.
Yeah, because Dota
Riot
was still a
Games.
mod. It's still only a mod.
Riot Games.
But Dota
made-
2 is actually... Yeah, Riot Games.
Yeah,
did
but
that.
but who was the split off for Riot?
That I don't know. This goes into an abundance of details. Designers: Christina Norman, Rob Garrett, Steve Feek. No
I
Ice
know
Frog
Steve
in
Feek.
there.
Well, Ice Frog is like a name.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
That doesn't.
I'm not seeing the name pop up, but anyway,
Oh, Fire Frog did it. No, I was kidding.
oh my god.
Oh my
Punch you.
god.
Well,
I mean, that's where it came from, though. People were like, "Oh, we could make this a standalone and kind of flesh it out."
Yeah, they got the idea from Dota, the mod, which was always a mod. It wasn't until Dota 2 when it became an actual game.
Yeah.
Outside of the mod. Right. And so League of Legends said, this is cool, let's make a standalone, and they made League of Legends.
Okay.
Riot
Yeah.
game.
Well, I'm glad we're on the topic of MOBAs, and we're in like the last 10 minutes of the show. Another story broke, like right before we went live.
Yes.
And
He was when he's searching for Dota, it came up.
no. I swear to God, I had
Oh my
this pulled
god.
up.
Oh, this new
No. Hand to God, I had this pulled up before we started the podcast, and I'm kind of glad we kind of just fell into the MOBA category because a story broke, and this is kind of like weird, but it's I think it's big. I think ESPN covered or is covering one or the other a MOBA game it's called Heroes of the Dorm. It's it's sponsored by Blizzard for Heroes of the Storm, and the winners of this championship are going to get scholarships for the rest of their terms in college.
Oh, wow.
So
It's a lot of money.
this is being covered on ESPN, and that's like the big story. But what's messed up is this guy from ESPN. His name is Colin Cowherd. I don't watch ESPN. I'm not a sports guy, so I don't know who this person is. If you're a fan of them, I'm sorry. Because what he said I disagree with completely. But he basically said that if I'm ever forced to cover guys playing video games, I will retire. And he just went on like a 3-minute rant on his show about how these are just guys who should just stay in their mom's basement and so on and so
Oh,
forth.
whoa, that's kind of douchey. Like, if you don't agree with it being a sport, then that's fine. Don't cover
Yeah.
it. But
Somebody lock the basement door at mom's house and don't let them out, he said. I tagged out at Harry Potter. I tolerated Donkey Kong. I'll tell you what that was the equivalent of me putting a gun in my mouth and having to listen to that. Unbelievable. You know what the funny thing is? Listen to how intense they are. Those guys are totally into it. Yeah, just like a football player is totally into playing football. I mean,
Well, the thing is, look, they
But it's
consider
the-
poker a sport.
Yeah.
Okay?
this is
So
the
what's
same
the
network
difference?
that broadcasts
It's the
bowling,
same-
right?
Yeah, or bowling.
oh,
well,
come
that's
on.
not a-
Bowling's a physical sport, though.
I
Yeah,
know,
but I
I'm
mean,
just giving bowling
poker?
crap.
Poker?
Yeah.
You know, that's
Yeah.
good. A pool?
This is poker.
I mean, do I need to keep going with
Poker
this? You
is
know?
the best example because poker is all about using your mind
Exactly.
to, overcome your opponents and whatever. That's what playing a video game is. You have to
Yeah,
use
there's
strategy.
no physical prowess to poker.
Yes, you have
Right,
to use
yeah, it's
strategy to conquer your opponent. And maybe ESPN isn't the best place to cover it, but hey, I mean, this is cool for video games. This is a really
It is.
cool thing. And
I-
of course, some old dinosaur is going to come in and start rattling on about how these people should be locked in their mom's basement. He doesn't even look
What's
that
the
old, but still, like he's acting like that.
What's the
I just-
definition of
Has
sport?
he like taken a look at his like target audience, which are like football fans
His last
and like
name
just
is Cowherd.
mega sports fans? Like they really shouldn't see the light of day either. And I know that doesn't make me any better, but I mean they get pretty extreme, and it's kind of like you're not playing the sport, you're just
They're-
watching it.
There are people, if their team wins or loses, that go out and like cause riots in the streets. Okay, sports fans
yeah.
can be incredibly destructive. At least when a video game player loses, the only thing they can break is their own equipment in front of them.
But that's because right now it is small time. I imagine if it was more large and national, like football and basketball and baseball and stuff like that, you would start to see the fan base kind of encompass those crazies who are like, oh no, I can't handle this. Buddy Foo lost. Whoa!
Yeah.
And then table flips
We get to see the dumbest sports names ever coming up here soon, and I love it.
Here's the
jerseys with.
Here's the definition of sport: an athletic activity requiring skill or physical prowess, and often of a competitive nature, as racing, baseball, tennis, golf, bowling, wrestling, boxing, hunting, fishing, etc. So it's with requiring skill or physical prowess. So poker's skill.
Yeah.
Fishing is skill. Although there is some physical prowess involved when you have to pull up that big fish.
Yeah.
But I mean, for the most part, I mean,
it's just people like this aren't going to get very far if they're disrespecting this giant fan base of people. And there's a lot of money involved in this stuff already, esports and stuff. Like, the fan base is already there. We just haven't been put on TV yet, you know? And now Blizzard sponsors this awesome thing with college scholarships up for grabs.
I'm surprised it's going to ESPN, though, because you have to think about the user base who would watch it. Most of them don't have cable.
True. I mean, TV is probably the worst place this could go, but it's also cool, like, that it's getting put in front of that audience as well. Now it could maybe start to be taken more seriously as time goes on, and we start seeing more and more of it. But no, you're going to be able to watch this on a live streaming site. Ultimately, I think that's going to be where those games live and those sports live.
I'm guessing Blizzard paid some money, you know, for this as well to get that attention.
And they're going to give scholarships away. And I mean, this is great advertising for Heroes of the Storm, which is
right.
Is that out yet? I've been actually really looking forward to trying that.
I think it is. I think you can install it. I think it's still in
beta.
Yeah, at least I think it's still beta, but I think it's open beta right now. I think.
Oh, let's fact check it. Come on, we're doing that today. Fact checking. Heroes of the Storm.
I've got an install button on mine, so
sign up for the beta.
Oh, mine. I've got an install button.
There you go.
You tell me.
You can sign up for the beta. Well, apparently you signed up for the beta.
And I got it, I guess. I don't know. I just never installed it.
It looks, I mean, it just says beta sign up, but by what Dreadless saying, could just be an open beta.
That's possible, too.
If you want a key, I got a spare. Oh, okay, cool. So it's one of those things where people get keys and hand them out, and appreciate that. But yeah, so anyway, good advertising for Heroes of the Storm, and cool for guys in college who like video games and participate in esports, and people like that guy. I'm sure there are more of him out there. Colin Cowherd. Yeah. Kind of like most of the time, talent picks their like persona, their last name. Did you really pick the name Cowherd? And like the show is like join the herd. Like, they embrace it too. They don't try to like just hide the fact that his last name is Cowherd.
That's funny.
Stupid.
All right, well, let's go out there and buy those mods.
Yeah. Now we can't.
Buy those mods, and remember, it's not a sport.
Yeah. Well.
Everything New podcast.
Yes. So, well, thank you so much for listening. This has been quite the rantastic podcast. And we'll be back next week. We're here every week on twitch.tv/enoobs at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, talking video games and whatever tickles our fancy. And, yeah, who knows what kind of stories we'll drop for next week's show. We'll just have to see. In the meantime, we'll be playing Grand Theft Auto. I'm trying to figure out how to get more people involved when we're playing. Usually we end up in a game, like last night we played Survival. It was like 4 of us playing Survival. Obviously, it's hard to like get everyone in on that because it's like a 4-person game. But pretty soon here, I'm going to try to like publicly broadcast when I'm playing Grand Theft Auto if you want to join us on like our server that we're on. So if you're interested in that, please go to everythingnoob.com, sign up. Sign up takes like 10 seconds. It doesn't even bring you off the homepage. and you'll be able to join the discussion on our forums, things like that, people trying to get together and play the games. And Grand Theft Auto is one of them. A lot of people in our community got the game, and we're going to try to, get people in on that. So, should be fun. If you want to play Grand Theft Auto with us, everythingnoob.com. If you want to listen to the podcast, check us out on iTunes, Stitcher. Hey, if you're on iTunes, leave us a rating, by the way. It's a huge, huge help for the show. And, yeah, I think I've said all I need to say about it. All right.
There you go.
We'll see you next week with another Everything Noob podcast.
Thank you for joining us for this edition of the Everything Noob podcast. Hit up everythingnoob.com for our show notes, blogs, YouTube and Twitch channels, previous episodes, and even a t-shirt store. Please game responsibly, and we'll see you next week.